Hey, Scuba Squad. Thanks for tuning in. We're heading out to Lake Wazee for the weekend to do some camping and diving. The weather's looking good, so we're looking forward to that. Say hi, Sally.
Hi.
We had our first fun dive of the year with Aquaventure Saturday out at Perch Lake. A few of the divers expressed interest in transitioning into technical diving. And I had some thoughts and ideas for them on how to best do that. And I thought I'd share them with you. So, the first thing you need to do, in my estimate, this is my ideas, get yourself a dry suit, get good and comfortable with it, get accustomed to deep diving with redundant air sources. What I would do personally, having gone through that transition myself, buy 2 steel cylinders of identical size and get good diving with them. Get a 40 cubic foot pony. And the reason for that is, if you're going to be doing dives below 100 feet, 120, 130, in these cold, deep water lakes, you are going to want redundancy. So with a steel cylinder, you'll have more cubic feet of breathing gas, and if you get a 40 cubic foot pony, you'll have a redundant air source to bail out. Redundancy in bailing out is what you have in technical diving. This is what we do for everything that we need. 2 is 1, 1 is none. So if you need 1, you better have 2, and you better make sure they both work. So once you are accustomed to deep diving as a recreational diver with a single tank and a pony, your trim is good, your weighting's good, you're comfortable, you can then transition into your technical diving gear. You can take the 2 steel cylinders that you bought that you were diving with your single cylinder setup, and you can manifold them together as doubles or get a regulator setup for side mount. Now, if you want to dive side mount, if you want to make that commitment now, you can get yourself a Dive Right Transpac BCD. You can dive it as a single cylinder setup, or you can buy the equipment to dive side mount with it, and it's a very easy transition. You don't have to go out and buy a completely new setup. You just have to buy the wing and the bungee cords and what other pieces you need for side mount for that, and then you can dive single cylinder with it. When you want to dive single cylinders, you can dive your side mount. Same thing with doubles. If you want to make the commitment to diving doubles, buy yourself a back plate and wing, and when you're ready, you can just band together the 2 cylinders that you have and start diving doubles. Now, as far as cylinder sizes go for technical diving, I would go with either 85s, 95s, or if you really want to punish yourself, 108s. Okay? My first set of cylinders I bought for technical diving were low pressure 108s, and they were fantastic cylinders. I had enough breathing gas for days with those things. The problem with them is they're just so heavy on the surface, and at the end of the dive, they would get so corky that I would have to wear about 4, 5, 6 pounds of lead just to account for the massive amounts of gas loss out of those things. When they began to empty, they get very corky, but I loved how they dive. But then again, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2" and I'm 250 pounds. So take into account your size. Like a smaller diver, I would recommend a set of low pressure 85s. If you want to go with high pressure cylinders, that's okay. If you want to get a set of high pressure 100s, that's great. the buoyancy characteristics of high pressure steel cylinders are actually a little bit better than low pressure cylinders, but the problem is it's difficult to get a full fill at every air fill station that you go to. If their cascade only goes up to 3,400 or 3,600, that's the best you're going to get. And then when the cylinders cool off, they'll cool off to about 22 or 3,200, 3,000, 3,100, whatever it is. And so you're not going to get a completely full fill. With low pressure steel cylinders, it's easy to get a really good fill on them, but they do tend to get more corky as they get empty. So it's kind of a good news, bad news, and decide what you want now and kind of dive with it. I've had 85s, 95s, 108s, great cylinders, all of them great for technical diving. It's just a matter of how badly you want to torture and punish yourself hucking those things around all the time. And that's one of the things that I didn't take into account when I bought mine is how heavy they are and how much work it is hauling those things everywhere to get them filled. So take that into account. When you get your technical gear, dive with it, get it set up, get comfortable with it, get your hose routing perfect, get your trim perfect, get your weighting perfect, get everything perfect with it. So when you take your technical diving class, it will be a lot easier for you, okay? You don't want to show up to your tech class on day one with all brand new gear. I've seen people do it. It doesn't work out very well for them. The instructors get pissed off and frustrated, and the student struggles to get through the class, and sometimes the instructor says, hey, look, you got to get used to diving this stuff, get about 20 or 30 dives in it, and then come back and talk to me and we'll finish your class. So if you are good, accomplished with your gear and it's set up the way it needs to be set up and the way you like it, your instructor is going to be thankful, and you will be thankful too, because it'll make your class a lot easier when you're ready to make that leap. And don't be in a huge rush, okay? I see a lot of new divers, they get into diving and they love it so much, and I love to see that, but you also have to think, take your time, take it easy, enjoy the ride. There's only so many things that you can do in diving, and taking too many classes too quickly without mastering some of the skills, it sets you up for failure. Okay, there's not very many dive shops that are going to say no to your money, right? You want to take a class? Okay, great, we'll sign you up. And I have seen divers try to accomplish too much too soon. They don't really focus on some of the fundamental skills of diving, and they're just hustling through classes and trying to get that next cert. They want that next cert, they want that next cert, and then they have a bad experience and it doesn't work out for them, and they get frustrated and they quit. So that's also a good piece of advice to every new diver. Take your time, enjoy the ride, just go out and have fun, and do some dives in between every class. Take maybe a class every year. That may sound like a lot, but up here in the lakes, in the diving season is relatively short, right? We start diving in May, and then we're pretty much done at the end of September. And so you only have so many weekends to dive, unless you want to go out every weekend, you know. And you have the time to devote to doing a lot of diving. I would recommend take a class, do 20 dives after that class, hone those skills that you learned, and then when you're ready, take the next class, especially for divers that are in their like 20s. Like, I got certified when I was 30. I've been diving for 20 years. I have a lot left that I can do, but I've also accomplished a lot. So just enjoy it. Don't be in a rush. have fun with it. This is diving. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be enjoyable. If it's stressful and it's work and you're stressing out about it, you're taking the wrong approach, believe me. Other than that, let me know what you think. I hope this video is helpful, and as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you.